We're back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen. I'd like to introduce Ryan Pereus, founder and CEO of Superhuman Prospecting. Ryan, what is Superhuman Prospecting? What are you doing?
Absolutely. Superhuman Prospecting does outsourced sales development for businesses, primarily B2B marketplace.
How large or how small is the firm? How old is it? And how'd you get a job with it?
Absolutely. So I founded the company in 2017. So we've been just about 5 years, 40 employees, and $2 million in revenue.
And where you're from originally? How many brothers and sisters? And where are you in the pecking order?
So I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio. I have a brother and a sister, so the oldest of three.
And what kind of sports were you playing as a kid?
Primarily baseball and soccer.
What was your favorite sport?
Definitely soccer.
And what was your role on the team?
Depending on the team, I was either a winger or a center midfielder.
What are the personality traits that you brought to midfielder or winger?
I would say a winger is someone who is a bit direct, results oriented, and needs to get the job done as soon as possible. And a center midfielder is a facilitator or distributor, and kind of all plays go through that person.
What's that have to do with your role as founder and CEO of Superhuman Prospecting?
Yeah, that's actually relates pretty well, because I would look at a winger as more of a sales rep, someone who's performing every day, trying to get results. And I look at a center midfielder as kind of a manager or distributor of the work, and to help the rest of the team get the job done.
You mentioned that you were involved with Cub Scouts when you were a kid, when we were talking earlier. What'd you get from Cub Scouts? What were you enjoying about Cub Scouts? What'd you get from them?
I think the survival skills. I mean, every kid dreams of, the MacGyver show, and figuring out how to put something together to save everyone's life. And so I think the survival skills, learning how to make a fire from, no real resources.
So it sounds to me like you like being resourceful.
Yes, sir.
What's resourceful have to do with, let alone survival, have to do with this founder and CEO role you have at Superhuman Prospecting?
I think the bootstrap nature of our business, having no outside investors, created an environment where we had to be resourceful. And so some of those kind of survival skills make you think at a different level than maybe if you were to have some cushion that you walked into.
So you mentioned at school, when we were talking earlier, that you were a good kid, but yet you were competitive. And tell me a little bit about how you could be a good kid and yet competitive when you were in school, and what's that have to do with growing this business?
I think that, it's a mentality when you're in school to have good character and treat people well. And when you're on a soccer field or baseball fields, your goal is to win. And it doesn't necessarily mean you sacrifice character. I think it means that, you have a environment where, you're trying to accomplish a goal. And so there's a certain level of performance that goes on top of that character that might not always be seen in a day-to-day activity in school.
And earlier when we were speaking, you spoke about you were very involved with church. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was raised in the church with my parents, and I was involved with a lot of different groups, whether it was youth group or going on mission trips or different Bible studies, things of that nature. That was a pretty large part of my upbringing, from early childhood into high school.
What was it about church that you enjoyed? Why'd you stay involved with church?
Yeah, I think I liked the connections that were made a lot of friends and deeper relationships than maybe I had in other areas of my life, such as sports teams. And I also liked that everyone had, kind of one thing in mind that they generally agreed on, which is rare.
So you like the deeper relationships. What are deeper relationships, and what's the everybody on the same page have to do with Superhuman Prospecting?
I think everyone gets a sense of being on a mission together. And so you're able to go into deeper discussions that maybe have more value to the person or to yourself, and also allow you to accomplish bigger and better things together.
Sounds like you really enjoy building a team. And you'd mentioned that you hung out with friends from church as well as from school, as well as from sports. So you hung out with different groups of friends doing different stuff. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So each and every group, I think, has its own purpose. With the guys on my team, we're talking about other players, we're talking about ideas, we're talking about kind of how to perform, and when you go to church, you're talking about deeper kind of metaphysical, spiritual aspects, right? And then when you're with friends, you're enjoying, you're relaxing, you're having fun. And each purpose kind of has its own level of fulfillment. And so it allows for, I think, a richer life and allows you to contribute and give back a bit easier.
That's interesting. So you're like able to compartmentalize the different people in your life. And what's this ability of yours to compartmentalize have to do with building this business?
Well, especially in the position I'm in as a CEO role, there's so many aspects to the business that require different types of, I guess I would say, energy. And so you have to be able to activate that energy depending, on that, the purpose of the task or role that you're involved in for that day or that minute, right? Or that meeting that you're in.
Mm-hmm. So depending on the different clients, you're able to assemble the proper teams to help those clients. And each one of those clients has different needs and wants. And does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say that with clients, absolutely takes a wide range of energy. The other folks on the show, it could probably attest to that you work with so many different types of people, but it's also internally, right? So you're working with HR and the different needs that HR has versus, account management and versus, the lower level operational staff, right? That actually carry the whole business. So it, across the board.
Mm-hmm. So in building this business, Superhuman Prospect, why is this business so interesting to you? Why are you doing this?
So I'm very passionate about the profession of sales and advancing the profession. I grew up also having a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit as well, kind of having a lawn mowing business to selling some things on eBay, that I always enjoyed that connection from value to money. Mm-hmm. And so, I thought that it wasn't as respected, graduating college and getting to my first career job. And so having this kind of, mental crisis or internal crisis of, man, I really love this position, but it has this stigma where, all salespeople are slimy or all salespeople have some kind of agenda that they're trying to push on you, kind of sparked my motivation to create an environment where selling is very positive and a good experience for people, both for the person being sold to and also for the salesperson. And so I think that's kind of created a passion with the business of superhuman prospecting.
What did you learn from sports that has anything to do, or what are you learning from sports? What are you learning from your previous role in sports and playing sports that has anything to do with helping build this business?
Well, I see so many analogies and areas that can apply to the business. So when you're involved with sports, it's almost a laboratory for your business because sports is all performance oriented and character oriented. And those are the two probably primary drivers that I've seen help have allow superhuman prospecting to have success. So when you're constantly working on how to perform better and also to have better character, in an environment that, is tough, right? In sports, you can apply that to the business world a little bit easier and smoother if you didn't have sports available.
Yeah, character means a great deal to you, doesn't it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What is the website address for Superhuman Prospecting?
Superhumanprospecting.com.
May you have that one more time?
Superhumanprospecting.com.
We've been speaking with Ryan Pereus, founder and CEO of Superhuman Prospecting here on Executive Leaders Radio.